week. And of course, joining me this hour is our very own business editor, Victoria Amunga. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Victoria. Now, as we even take a look at the stories that have been making headlines, quite an interesting thing is the fact that Kenya Airways is now providing a one-way direct flight to the United States at a very interesting cost there.
Oh, yeah, very interesting. Not as such, I would say it's a big milestone for Kenya. Remember, this is a process that has been going on since, should have been 4 years now when this discussion started. And the coming in of Trump as the president of the United States sparked some, a bit of fear that maybe he would not allow this to go through. But now we see it's actually like a done deal now, because just this morning KQ announced that like we saw in the story, now guys can buy tickets as up to now. You can go online and buy those tickets to fly.
A ticket is costing around 89,000 shillings.
Oh, it's roughly 815 USD, which is roughly 89,000 shillings, Kenya shillings, to and fro.
But it's different for the business class.
Oh yeah, that's the economic, the bare minimum, the economy class. So now, and yeah, you're good to fly in October, though not now, because they say if they start booking tickets to fly in 2 months, they might not get customers, because remember, this is the very first time they're flying directly to United States, and you need time to give people time to get used to
adjust to the entire changes.
15 hours it's a long flight.
It's quite a lot.
You'll agree with me?
Yeah, definitely. And so let's take a look at the fact that what will this do for the country's economy in the fact that this now impacts the transport sector, and even now business people will be able to transact businesses right from the United States and coming to Kenya. So how does this open up the economy?
It's going to make it easier for businessmen and women to fly. You don't have to long layovers, not there anymore. I can choose to fly 15 hours, come do my business, go back to the United States, and the other way around. So in terms of tourists, we see a lot of tourists coming to Kenya. Actually, United States leads the number of tourists in Kenya. So we see an increase in number of tourists who may want to just fly directly instead of taking 22 hours to fly to Kenya. So we see also opening up the business between Kenya and United States, because you can imagine if I can directly go to, for example, Mombasa and come back over a couple of hours and do my things and go, then that makes it easier for me even to run my business in whichever of those two countries.
All right. Yeah. And also, I think even in terms of that, this is going to also enhance the business or cooperation between Kenya, and also the trade ties between Kenya and the United States.
Oh yeah, because we've been seeing Kenya and the United States trying to even tighten up the bilateral economic ties and trade between the two countries. And we saw, and we've seen the United States President Trump being open to Kenya for doing business between Kenya and his country. So we see this just becoming much more better in terms of trade between Kenya and United States. But remember, KQ has been having its own issues.
Yes.
You've seen, pilots striking, a lot of.
Exactly. So how does that affect, would that affect the fact that we are now opening up to a very big market?
Oh yeah, because you mess up with United States a day or two. I mean, you delay their flights, or tomorrow they wake up and they're told, no, you can't fly because our pilots are on strike. Then you just mess up the entire thing. So we hope that even as they get into this very big market, then they also streamline their services and to the people as well.
Definitely. Yeah. All right, and away from that, let's now take a look at what has also been happening in terms of banking, where Chase Bank depositors met after sale of the bank. The bank has now been sold. Maybe just give us an update into that.
Another big story that we had this week. We saw finally Chase Bank, I beg your pardon, was sold off to SBM, which is a Mauritius-based bank. It's a whole company. And now it's going to be owned by SBM. Everything about Chase Bank is going to change to be SBM. And now that happened on, that was on 8th when the deal was signed. And now, just yesterday, we saw the CBK governor had a meeting with Chase Bank depositors. These are people who have huge amounts of money, and even that 1 shilling, it's fine because you're still a depositor in there. So these people, what they wanted to know was, like, fine, the bank has been sold, so what's left for us? Are we going to get our money? Because remember, these guys, when Chase Bank was opened up for people to withdraw their money, they were, I'm sorry, they were only allowed to withdraw up to 1 million shillings, and the rest of the money is still there. Remember, there are corporates, there are youth organizations, schools, whatever, who had their money in Chase Bank, considering the fact that these people, according to what people say, they had very nice systems of, you know, systems and services that people really like to keep their money there, especially corporates and whatever groups of people. So they were only allowed to withdraw up to 1 million shillings. And now, since then, no one can access their money. I had a conversation with one of the depositors in there, just off camera, because they didn't want to be on camera, actually, almost all of them. So it's like, my dear, I have 5 million shillings in that account. I can't do nothing. I don't have a job. I can't access a shilling from there. So we want to know, it's been promises after promises. When are we getting all our money? When are we able to access all our money? So it's been, it was a meeting that sought to explain to these guys, like, fine, this is what has happened, and this is going forward, this is how we plan to help you get your money. And you will allow me to explain what transpired there, and which is causing a little bit of a debate between the depositors and CBK and the KDIC, which is the insurance.
But there was actually a closed door meeting yesterday between the depositors and CBK.
Yes, which I was able to attend. Apparently they didn't want media to be there, but we were able to follow the proceedings. And what the CBK was trying to explain to them is that, fine, the bank will be open on a day which is not specified, so which whereby the depositors will have new accounts in this new bank. But then you'll only access 75% of your money. So if you had 100 shillings, you only access 75 shillings. So where does the 25 shillings go to?
But I understand that they're saying that the depositors will be able to access their money in the next 3 years.
Oh, this is, but then the governor was saying that the bank will be open any day from now. He didn't specify exactly when, because he was telling them on day 1 you can get 75% of your money. So, but then they're asking, when is day 1? 25%. When am I getting my 25%? So they're told, we will sell Chase Bank assets. We will go for the loan, the people who owe Chase Bank to get this money to give you. So it was a bit of a heated debate in there. A lot of people were shy to air that story, but then we did, and we saw that a lot of heated debate there, and guys want to know exactly when are we getting our money. This 25%, are we likely to lose it or not?
So the uncertainty is still persisting
on there, yeah, despite the fact that Chase Bank is gone, fine, it's sold, but then they have to answer these questions, they have to settle these guys. And remember, the people who messed up Chase Bank are still free. They have not been held to account yet. So the CBK says they're still going after them. Hopefully something comes out of it.
Hopefully. And just to touch on that specific issue that we're talking about, CBMH is the one that is acquiring Chase Bank now. And they want to consolidate its presence in East Africa and are actually intending to be one of the biggest bank tiers in Kenya. Do you think that there's enough market to accommodate another bigger bank in Kenya?
Well, considering the market for banking sector right now, they really have to do a lot. Because we've seen big banks like BBK, they've been having their own problems. Like, they're closing some of their branches. So what new thing are they? They have to really have a strategy that is going to, you know, maybe turn around the entire banking sector. But still, this leaves us with a question then. Can't we just build our own banking sector? Must we go out there and outsource a service from another country? So that gives the banking sector stakeholders a challenge, because why didn't this tender, why wasn't it won by, let's say, KCB, Barclays, something then? Then something is amiss or something, or I don't know. Then we need to really streamline our banking sector.
All right.
Sure, yeah.
All right, and just moving away from the banking sector into state corporations, it is now evident that directors of state corporations will be able, are set actually to get a monthly salary pay increase of about 87.5%. That is quite a huge amount of increase.
Yeah, so the lowest will be actually, we have the biggest, you have parastatals, which are in ranks. So we have like the Kenya Ports Authority, we have the Kenya Airports Authority. Those are the parastatals that the chairman earn most of the money. So now the highest will be going home, will be taking home 150,000 shillings. Zainab, this is money that you just earn. It's a retainer,
This was signed by the Treasury.
Yes.
But then it also puts to question the government's commitment to tame the inflaming wage bill in the country.
They have been crying. The wage bill is going up and up all the time. We see now giving chairman 150 shillings monthly retainer. It's actually a retainer for you just because you're the chairman, you get 150 shillings.
150 shillings or 150,000?
1,000 shillings, yeah. Sorry for that. But then there's also, you sit in committees, you get 25,000 for just sitting allowances. I have a friend of mine whom I will not say his name, but then he was a chairman of a parastatal, and he told me, being a chairman of a parastatal, you're just there as a picture. Really, you do nothing. The CEOs are the ones who do a lot of those jobs. So I'm earning 150,000 shillings for just a name. Really, is it even viable for?
And is it sustainable even? But these new rates are in line with the new grading system adopted by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission.
Yeah, but then this SRC says it's going to court over the same. Because they're saying apparently they can't sustain this. And even on the same note, the MPs want their salaries increased. So then it's a battle. Are we trying to get money to grow the economy or to get money to give to?
But in their defense, what they're saying is this new pay structure is intended to attract rather highly qualified professionals to state corporations, which could further raise the public wage bill that currently consumes half of the tax revenue.
But would you rather pay one person 200,000 shillings and pay the other person like maybe 10,000, or you need to balance? I think Kenya is the highest in terms of wage bill. If even we compare ourselves with probably Eastern Africa, it's actually a fact. Kenya is the highest in terms of wage bill. But then do we see the results at the end of it? If you tell me you're paying a chairman of a KAA probably that 200 or 150, and then I see a huge difference in the sector, then I will say probably. But then the difference should not be so big, because this, who is the lowest person, is going to earn maybe 12,000, and they have to go to court each time to try and increase their wage and all that. Then, to me, I think really they need to really look into this much more.
All right, definitely, and that's definitely a conversation we would like to also have in the coming days. But away from that, Julius Kipngetich, the former Uchumi CEO, has now landed a new job. Maybe give us an insight into that.
Yeah, Kipngetich was in forestry at first, KWS, and then he went to Uchumi, and then Uchumi had their own problems. He left, he resigned. He left them with their problems, if I have to say that. So now he's gotten a job as the CEO of Jubilee Insurance. Jubilee Insurance is a company that is doing really well, because in their last report, they had an 18 point something increase in terms of profits. It's a company that is doing really well. And now what they are looking at, or rather what they are basing on, is Kipngetich's good job in KWS. When he was in KWS, really everybody agrees that he did a great job there. But then problem came at Uchumi. We don't know really exactly, but he really tried to revive Uchumi. But then I think he got to a place and said, okay, it will not die in my hands, so I'd rather just leave. So what Jubilee is basing on is his good job at KWS. Probably they think that what he did, the good job he did at KWS, then he will put the same efforts in Jubilee. But Jubilee it's doing great in terms of profits.
Quite great, and of course, well, and let's not delve so much into that. Let's wish Julius Kipngetich a wonderful time as he joins Jubilee Insurance. But away from that, let's now take a look at the dark moments, KPLC, power blackout, the bills, the backdated of bills. This caused quite an uproar on social media, even people, and even people going to court to maybe just also give us an update into that. Yeah,
that happened, and it threw the country into darkness. So all the major cities were in darkness a few days ago, and Zainab, this is worrying because the same thing happened last year, almost the same time. So you wonder, is it, so it's a trend that every year at a certain time we always have to go into darkness. So then they're asked, what happened? Last year it was about a monkey that dropped a line or something, a story that, okay, they made us buy it, but then still looking into the details, really, why would you be so careless to let a monkey fall an electric power tree or something? So then this time round they say no, it's an electric fault and all that. So I think it's someone is sleeping on a job on that particular issue, and they KPLC. Many people say that they need a competitor, and now even the competition authority has gone to court over the same issue. And now they're asking people, well, do you have a backdated bill? Do you have an issue with Kenya Power? Please give us your right to us, give us your complaints. They are heading to court over Kenya Power. So we hope that probably they will be seeing another company coming up to compete Kenya Power, because this monopoly kind of a thing probably is what making some companies just relax and give people some, services that are a bit not quite standard. In fact, they have overcharged consumers due to their backdated bills, which they want to recover. Utility bills of amounting 8.1 billion shillings. Exactly. So how do they recover that? They And on that same note, we see the CEO for his name is Korir. Korir was saying that Korir and Keter, the CS Energy, saying that this the backdated issue on bills is not because of that, but they're claiming that there's a new system that they're trying to put on. They're trying to put up. So that's what is making the varieties, the diversities in terms of the bills. But then they're not coming out so clearly. So if you were making, or rather if you're using a new system, then it means that the services must, or they should be much better. Not for me now to get some substandard services or something, because if I am imagining, if I'm becoming much more technological in terms of services and becoming, if you're using a new app or whatever it is, then you have a plan. I think there's a plan that you need to have before you start rolling off the new system. So then for them to tell Kenyans that we are using a new system, that's why you're seeing this, I really want to see what's going to happen in courts in terms of, because really complaints are a lot. Yeah, definitely. And also in terms of what they want to do, they are working on plans to introduce a mobile application to help with the billing system. Is this going to aid the consumers be able to pay their bills on time, and how effective is this going to be? The mobile system, I think it's going to make it easier for the consumers, because right now we see that you're in a situation where you just at the end of the month, okay, save for the tokens, the meter system where you can prepay your bills. You only get your bill at the end of the month, and you don't know exactly how did I consume this power and all that. But then if you have a mobile app that they're saying, and then you'll be able to follow up on how much you consuming, and you can be able to know exactly how much am I supposed to pay according to how much I've consumed this month. So it's going to make my work much easier for the consumers, and I just hope this rolls out so soon. All right. The problem with KQ, Kenya Power. Problem thinking about flying to states in October by KQ. Well, the problem with Kenya Power, they always start a project, and then they say this is like it's a trial, then it will keep trying. for years, they're still trying. So I hope when they start this mobile app, then they will run with it and just make sure it's rolled out in the entire country.
No, definitely. And I think we will have to wind up at that point. Also, a quite interesting thing to note for the viewer is the fact that they also intend to cut their expenditure to 238 billion in this financial year.
I hope they make it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much, Victoria Amunga, for your insight on Business Insight this hour. Many thanks for watching. More news in our subsequent bulletins. My name is Annabeth Smile. But good afternoon and a fantastic day ahead. Thank you. That was nice.